The kingdom of Enchantia glistened beneath the early light of spring, its castle towers rising into skies brushed with pale blue. Princess Sofia, though she had already experienced many magical adventures, felt something unusual stirring in the air. The flowers in the royal gardens bloomed brighter than ever, and the air shimmered with warmth. Yet what caught her attention most was a peculiar sparkle she noticed one morning near the lavender beds. She bent down, Clover hopping beside her, ears twitching suspiciously. "Do you see that?" Sofia whispered. Clover wrinkled his nose. "Probably just a bug, Sofia. You know, the kind that'll try to land on my ears and drive me crazy." But Sofia's heart told her otherwise. The shimmer grew into a glowing butterfly, its wings painted with faint golden light. It hovered just long enough to catch Sofia's gaze before vanishing as quickly as it had appeared. That night, Sofia dreamed of butterflies, thousands filling the sky, their wings glowing in shades of violet and sapphire. A single butterfly, larger than all the rest, descended and spoke in a whisper that rustled like leaves in the wind. "Princess Sofia, seek the butterfly crown. Your destiny awaits." Sofia awoke with the words burning in her mind. She could not ignore them. The next day, she hurried to Cedric's tower. Surely, if anyone knew about such a magical object, it would be him. "Cedric," she began, eyes bright with curiosity, "do you know anything about a butterfly crown?" Cedric paused over his bubbling cauldron, raising an eyebrow. "Butterfly crown? Sounds like one of those dusty old myths. But," he tapped his chin, "there are legends. A crown forged from the wings of the first butterfly spirit, said to grant the power of transformation and command over all winged creatures. A dangerous treasure, if you ask me. Best left in stories." Sofia frowned, though, thoughtfully. "But what if it's real? I think it's calling me." Cedric waved her off, though his eyes glinted with secret interest. "If you go chasing butterflies, don't blame me when you end up in trouble." But Sofia could not let it go. Later that day, as she wandered near the forest's edge, 3 glowing butterflies appeared. They circled in the air before darting away, pausing as though waiting for her to follow. "Oh no," Clover groaned. "Here we go again. Sparkles, quests, danger. Can't we just have one normal day with snacks?" But Sofia's determination was unshakable. She followed the butterflies deep into the forest until they reached a clearing with a pond as still as glass. Across the pond rose an archway of vines woven into a circle. The butterflies flew through and vanished. Sofia approached, heart pounding. The arch shimmered faintly, and when she touched it, golden light pulsed through the vines. Wind swirled around her, pulling her forward. "Hold on, Clover," she cried, as the world spun into a whirl of colors. When she opened her eyes, she gasped. She stood in a meadow unlike any she had ever seen. Flowers stretched endlessly, glowing softly in the breeze, and thousands of butterflies painted the sky with trails of light. In the distance, crystal rivers sparkled, and mountains shimmered like guardians. "Okay," Clover stammered, looking around wide-eyed. "This isn't Enchantia anymore." Then, from the swarm of butterflies, one descended, glowing brighter than the rest. It transformed into a regal woman with golden wings. Her voice was calm and powerful. "Welcome, Princess Sofia. I am Queen Marilla of the Butterfly Kingdom, and you are the one chosen to seek the butterfly crown." Sofia's eyes widened. "Me? But why?" "Because the Butterfly Kingdom is fading," Marilla explained. "The crown was stolen long ago, and without it, our world weakens. Only with a heart as pure as yours can restore it. If you accept, your journey begins now." Sofia took a deep breath, steadying her courage. "Then I'll do it. I'll help find the crown." Clover slapped his paw to his face. "I knew you were going to say that." And so Sofia's quest began, with butterflies guiding her toward destiny and an adventure that would test her heart in ways she never imagined. The meadow of the Butterfly Kingdom stretched endlessly before Sofia, but Queen Marilla's words echoed in her ears. "To reclaim the butterfly crown, you must pass the 3 trials. Only then will the crown reveal itself." Sofia swallowed nervously. She had faced challenges before, dragons, witches, even curses, But something about this place felt different. This was not just about bravery. It was about who she was inside. "Great," Clover muttered as they followed a trail of glowing butterflies. 3 trials. Why can't magical kingdoms ever just hand over the treasure and say thank you? Sophia smiled faintly, but her eyes stayed focused. Soon, the path led them to a river wider than the castle's great hall. Its waters shimmered like glass, reflecting not only the trees and sky above, but something more. Sophia leaned closer. Instead of her usual reflection, she saw herself as she had once been. A small, uncertain girl with plain clothes, the Sofia who had first arrived in Enchantia. The younger reflection stepped from the water, becoming solid. Her voice was soft but carried a sting. "You don't belong here. You're not a real princess. You never were." Clover's jaw dropped. Sophia? I don't like this." Sophia's chest tightened. Deep down she remembered the same fears. She hadn't been born into royalty. She'd been chosen by fate. What if she wasn't good enough? But then she remembered everything since that day. Saving friends, helping kingdoms, even learning from her mistakes. She had grown into a princess not by birth, but by heart. Lifting her chin, Sophia said firmly, "I may not have been born a princess, but I've learned that being a princess means caring for others, being brave, and choosing kindness. That's who I am, and I do belong." Her reflection paused. Then it smiled and dissolved into a swirl of golden light, sinking back into the river. The water glowed, and butterflies rose from its surface, forming a shimmering bridge across. "You did it!" Clover exclaimed, hopping with relief. "Though, I still just saw a giant carrot in the water. Guess my fears aren't so complicated." Laughing softly, Sophia crossed the bridge with Clover by her side. On the other side, the air grew cooler. A faint wind whispered through tall grass, carrying the scent of honeysuckle. But the peace didn't last. From the shadows of nearby trees, a figure cloaked in black feathers watched them. The stranger's staff gleamed with a broken crystal. Their voice, low and sharp, cut through the silence. "So the little princess thinks she can pass the trials. We'll see how long her courage lasts." Unaware of the dark watcher, Sophia pressed on. The butterflies guided her deeper into the land until they reached a grove where the trees bent to form a circle. In the center, a glowing stone pedestal held a crystal orb. Etched on the pedestal were words in silver script. "Here begins the trial of wisdom. Speak the truth of your heart, or lose your way." Clover peered at the orb suspiciously. "You sure this isn't going to explode?" Sophia placed her hands on the crystal. Instantly, visions swirled around her, paths twisting through forests, choices branching in every direction. A voice whispered, "Every choice carries weight. Will you choose for yourself or for others?" The images showed 2 roads ahead, one glittering with treasures, the other dark and uncertain, yet filled with people in need. Sophia felt the test in her heart. True wisdom wasn't about choosing the easiest path. It was about knowing what mattered most. "I'll choose the path that helps others," she said clearly. The dark road lit with golden butterflies, and the pedestal glowed brighter. The orb melted into light, vanishing into her chest like a heartbeat. "You passed," Clover said, ears twitching nervously. "But I get the feeling the next trial isn't going to be so easy." Sophia nodded, her eyes shining with determination. Somewhere beyond the trials, the butterfly crown awaited, and with it, the fate of 2 kingdoms. The glowing butterflies led Sophia and Clover away from the grove where the pedestal had vanished. The air grew heavier as they ventured deeper into the butterfly kingdom. Trees arched overhead, their leaves whispering like secrets. The path grew narrower, until at last they stood before towering hedges shaped into spirals and arcs. "This doesn't look good," Clover muttered, his ears drooping. "I don't like mazes. Mazes mean traps, dead ends, and things jumping out at you when you least expect it." Sophia looked up at the hedge walls that rose like green towers. Golden butterflies hovered at the entrance, forming an archway. Words carved into stone above read, "The Labyrinth of Courage. Only the brave may find the way. Sofia took a deep breath. This must be the third trial. Courage. The moment they stepped inside, the entrance sealed behind them. The paths twisted endlessly, vines shifting and curling as though alive. The deeper they walked, the darker it grew. Strange sounds echoed in the distance. Whispers, growls, even laughter. "Yep," Clover said nervously, sticking close to Sofia's ankles. "Definitely traps." Soon they reached their first fork in the path. To the left lay a tunnel so dark Sofia could see nothing inside. To the right stretched a path glowing faintly, but lined with shadows that moved unnaturally. "Which way?" Clover whispered. Sofia hesitated. She remembered the trial of wisdom, choosing the path for others, not herself. Here, the lesson was different. Courage wasn't about avoiding fear. It was about facing it. She turned to the darker tunnel. "We go left." Clover's eyes widened. "And of course we do." They stepped into the pitch-black tunnel. At first, there was nothing but silence and the sound of their own footsteps. Then came the whispers. "You are small. You are weak. You cannot succeed." The voices swirled in the darkness, pulling at Sofia's heart. Shadows rose before her, forming twisted versions of herself, one crying, one afraid, one turning away from the trials. Sofia's breath shook. Fear gripped her. What if the voices were right? But then she remembered the bridge of butterflies, the orb of wisdom, and Queen Marilla's words. "Only one with a pure heart can restore the crown." She lifted her chin. "I am afraid. But that doesn't mean I'll stop. Courage isn't about not feeling fear. It's about moving forward anyway." Her words broke the shadows apart. Light burst through the tunnel, revealing the way forward. Clover blinked, ears high. "Remind me to stick with you next time we're in a scary maze." They pressed on, deeper into the labyrinth. Each corner brought new challenges, thorny vines that lashed out, illusions of enchantia crumbling, even a phantom storm that roared overhead. Sofia pushed through each one, her courage shining brighter. Finally they reached the heart of the maze. A clearing opened, and in its center stood a tall, cracked statue of a butterfly with broken wings. At its base, a stone tablet glowed faintly. Sofia approached and read aloud. "The crown is born of courage, wisdom, and truth. With these, the path shall open." The statue's wings mended, glowing until they spread wide with golden light. Butterflies burst into the air, swirling around Sofia. The labyrinth's walls melted away, leaving only open sky. "You did it, Sofia!" Clover cheered, though he added nervously, "But if I never see another creepy whispering hedge again, it'll be too soon." Before Sofia could respond, the ground trembled. From shadows at the edge of the meadow, the cloaked figure appeared again, the thief with the crystal staff. Their voice hissed like a snake. "You may have passed the trials, little princess, but the butterfly crown will never be yours. Its power belongs to me." Sofia's heart raced. The true challenge was only beginning. The meadow shimmered faintly in the aftermath of the labyrinth's collapse. Butterflies fluttered around Sofia as though celebrating her victory, but the joy was cut short by the presence of the shadowy figure stepping from the trees. The staff in their hand pulsed with a shard of broken crystal, glowing faintly with dark power. Sofia stood tall, though her heart thudded in her chest. "Who are you?" she demanded. The figure lowered their hood, revealing a woman with raven-black hair streaked with silver. Her eyes gleamed like storm clouds, sharp and filled with bitterness. "I am Nyx," she said, her voice smooth yet cold. "The rightful bearer of the butterfly crown. You should turn back, little princess, before you lose more than your way." Clover muttered, "Why do the scary ones always have dramatic introductions?" Nyx raised her staff, and the air around her darkened. "Long ago, the crown was mine to claim, but Queen Marilla denied me. She said my heart was too filled with anger, but I know the truth. It was fear of my strength." Sofia shook her head. "The crown isn't about strength. It's about courage, wisdom, and kindness. If you only want power, It will never be yours." Nyx's eyes narrowed. Shadows twisted at her feet, rising into the shape of monstrous butterflies with jagged wings. They hissed and fluttered toward Sofia. "Stay behind me, Clover," Sofia cried. She drew in a breath and remembered the lessons of the labyrinth. Courage meant moving forward, even in fear. She stood firm as the shadow creatures circled. The glowing butterflies that had guided her before suddenly swarmed down, clashing with the shadowy ones. Light and dark collided in a whirlwind of sparks. Nyx neared, her staff striking the ground to summon more darkness. "You can't fight me," Nyx hissed. "The crown answers only to one who seizes power." "No!" Sofia shouted, her voice strong. "The crown answers to one who earns it." Her words rang through the meadow. The glowing butterflies surged brighter, pushing back Nyx's shadows. For a moment, light triumphed. But Nyx was not defeated. With a furious cry, she struck her staff against the earth. A crack opened beneath Sofia's feet, and the ground gave way. She and Clover tumbled into darkness. When they landed, they were no longer in the meadow. Instead, they found themselves in a cavern glowing with eerie blue light. Crystal formations jutted from the walls, and pools of water shimmered like mirrors. Clover groaned. "I knew following butterflies would get us into trouble. Now we're underground in creepy crystal land." Sofia got to her feet, brushing off dirt. "We can't give up, Clover. This must be part of the journey. The crown is close. I can feel it." As they walked through the cavern, Sofia noticed the crystals reflected not her image, but moments of her life, helping Amber with her fears, standing up to Cedric when he made mistakes, comforting friends when they felt small. Each reflection reminded her of how far she had come. At last, they reached a wide chamber where a pedestal of stone stood in the center. Resting on it was a butterfly-shaped key, glowing with golden light. Sofia gasped. "The key of wings." Queen Marilla said it was the final step before the crown reveals itself. But before she could reach it, Nyx's voice echoed through the cavern. "Foolish child, did you think I would let you claim what is mine?" The shadows gathered again, sealing off the exits. Nyx appeared, her staff raised high. "If you want the crown, Princess Sofia, then prove yourself against me." Sofia gripped the key tightly, her resolve shining. She knew this was no longer just about passing trials. This was about protecting the butterfly kingdom from falling into darkness. She stood tall, her voice ringing through the cavern. "I'll never stop fighting for what's right. If it means protecting this kingdom and the crown, then I'm ready." The battle was about to begin. The cavern pulsed with shadows and light, like a storm trapped beneath the earth. Nyx's staff glowed with dark crystal energy, casting jagged beams across the walls. Sofia tightened her grip on the butterfly key, its warmth spreading through her hands like courage itself. Clover crouched behind her, wide-eyed but ready to leap if needed. Nyx's laughter echoed through the chamber. "You've passed the trials, little princess, but they mean nothing. Power is not won by kindness or courage. It is seized by force." She slammed her staff into the ground, and the cavern shuddered. Shadowy butterflies burst from the cracks, their wings sharp as blades. Sofia braced herself. "Kindness and courage are stronger than you think, Nyx." The glowing butterflies from above descended, clashing against the shadow creatures in a flurry of sparks. Sofia ran toward the pedestal where the butterfly key floated, but Nyx raised a wall of shadows to block her path. "You don't deserve the crown," Nyx snarled. "You're just a child playing princess." Sofia's heart pounded. The voices in the river of reflection had said the same thing, and for a moment doubt returned, but she remembered the labyrinth. Courage was about moving forward despite fear. She shouted over the roar of battle, "I may be young, but I know what it means to be a princess. It means helping others, not ruling them with fear." The key flared in response, glowing so brightly it pierced the wall of shadows. Sofia dashed forward and seized it. Energy surged through her, filling her with light. The ground beneath her glowed with butterfly patterns spreading outward. Nyx's eyes widened. "No!" She swung her staff, unleashing a wave of Daelis energy. Sofia raised the key instinctively, and golden wings of light spread around her like a shield. The energy crashed against it, but the shield held firm. "Go, Sofia!" Clover shouted, his tiny body trembling, but his voice full of faith. Summoning her strength, Sofia pointed the key toward Nyx. The wings of light swept forward, colliding with the shadows. Nyx staggered back, her staff flickering. But she wasn't finished. With a furious cry, she lifted her staff high. The broken crystal pulsed, drawing power from the cavern itself. Cracks split the floor, and shards of dark crystal rose, forming monstrous figures with glowing eyes. Sofia gasped. "She's drawing strength from the land itself!" The cavern began to collapse, stalactites raining from the ceiling. Sofia realized she couldn't win by force. The trials had taught her that much. The crown wasn't meant for destruction, but restoration. She closed her eyes and held the key to her heart. Courage, wisdom, truth. The words of the pedestal returned to her. Use them together. When she opened her eyes, her voice was steady. "Nyx, stop. You don't have to fight me. The crown doesn't need anger. It needs healing. You've let your hurt twist into darkness, but you can choose differently." For a heartbeat, Nyx hesitated. The shadows faltered. Her eyes softened, but then hardened again. "Lies! Only power matters." She hurled her final attack, a torrent of dark energy. Sofia raised the key one last time. This time she didn't fight the attack with force. Instead she let the key release pure light, wrapping both herself and Nyx in its glow. The shadowy figure shattered, and the dark crystal in Nyx's staff cracked apart. Nyx screamed as the power broke away, shadows tearing from her like smoke. She fell to her knees, her staff clattering uselessly to the ground. The cavern stilled, the trembling fading. Sofia sate, ebbed closer, lowering the key. Her voice was gentle now. "It's over, Nyx. The crown isn't about ruling others. It's about protecting them. You can't take it by force. You can only earn it." The butterfly key pulsed again, and the cavern ceiling split with golden light. A staircase of butterflies descended from above, leading upward. The path to the crown had revealed itself. Clover hopped to Sofia's side, panting. "You. Remind me never to doubt you again, Sofia. That was... wow." Sofia smiled faintly, though her heart still pounded. "We're not done yet. The crown is waiting." Together they began to climb the staircase of butterflies, leaving the cavern and Nyx's broken shadows behind. The staircase of butterflies carried Sofia and Clover upward, their wings glowing so brightly it was as though they were climbing into the sky itself. With each step, Sofia felt the warmth of the butterfly key pulse in her hands, guiding her closer to the end of her journey. Clover, panting and clutching onto her shoe for balance, muttered, "If I ever see another butterfly after this, it'll be too soon, unless it brings snacks." At last, they reached a platform of crystal suspended high above the kingdom. A vast chamber stretched out before them, its walls carved from shimmering stone that sparkled like stars. In the center rose a pedestal shaped like blooming wings, and atop it rested the butterfly crown. Sofia's breath caught. The crown was unlike anything she had ever seen. Crafted from delicate strands of gold, its arcs were shaped like butterfly wings, with gemstones that shimmered in every color of the rainbow. It radiated not just beauty, but peace, as though it held the very heartbeat of the kingdom. Clover blinked at it. "That's it? That's the thing we've been nearly squished, spooked, and chased over? Gotta admit, it's prettier than I expected." Sofia stepped forward, but as she did, the crown's glow shifted. A voice filled the chamber, soft but powerful. "The butterfly crown does not belong to one who desires it. It belongs to one who understands it. Speak." "Princess Sofia, why do you seek me?" The room fell silent. Sofia placed her hand over her heart. "I don't seek you for power or glory. I seek you because your kingdom is fading without you, and because I've learned that being a princess isn't about ruling. It's about protecting, caring, and helping others shine. If you'll let me, I'll restore you not for myself, but for everyone who depends on you." For a moment, nothing happened. Then the crown's gemstones blazed with light. The pedestal dissolved, and the crown floated gently toward Sofia. Butterflies of every color filled the chamber, swirling around her in celebration. Sofia reached out, hands trembling, and placed the crown upon her head. Instantly, warmth spread through her, not overwhelming, but comforting, like sunlight after a storm. Images flashed in her mind: the river of reflection, the labyrinth of courage, the crystal cavern. Every trial she had faced came together, showing her the truth. The crown was never about strength alone. It was about becoming the best version of herself. Clover hopped up and squinted. "Well, how do you feel? Super powerful? Super princessy?" Sofia smiled softly. "I feel like me, only brighter." The chamber itself responded. The walls shimmered, sending beams of light out into the sky. Far below, the butterfly kingdom awoke. Flowers bloomed brighter, rivers sparkled, and butterflies rose in countless numbers, their wings glittering like diamonds. The fading land was restored. But as the crown settled, a faint sound echoed behind them. Nyx, weakened but still present, had followed up the staircase. Her eyes widened at the sight of the crown glowing on Sofia's head. She fell to her knees, whispering, It accepted you." Sofia turned gently toward her. "It could accept you too, Nyx, if you chose kindness over anger." Nyx's eyes shimmered with conflict for the first time. She didn't lift her staff or call shadows. Instead, she bowed her head. "Perhaps. I still have much to learn." The butterflies parted, creating a path of light leading back to Queen Marilla's palace. Clover wagged his tail. "Finally, a way home, and hopefully some carrot cake at the end of this adventure." Sofia smiled, holding the crown steady on her head. The trials were complete, the crown was restored, and yet she knew her journey was not quite finished. One final step awaited: the return to Queen Marilla. The butterflies of light carried Sofia, Clover, and Nyx back across the sky. The world below sparkled as though waking from a long dream, fields bursting into bloom, rivers running clear and strong, and towers of crystal shining in the distance. Everywhere they looked, the butterfly kingdom was alive again. When they landed before Queen Marilla's palace, the golden-winged queen awaited them, her expression filled with both hope and awe. "Princess Sofia," she said, her voice warm and resonant, "you have done what none before you could. You faced the trials with truth, wisdom, and courage. And now, you bear the butterfly crown." Sofia touched the crown on her head lightly. "I didn't do it alone," she said, glancing at Clover, who puffed his chest proudly, and then at Nyx, who stood quietly behind them. Marilla's eyes softened as she looked at Nyx. "And what of you, child of shadow? Have you come to seize the crown again?" Nyx lowered her gaze, shame flickering across her face. "No, I came to destroy, but instead I was shown what I had forgotten. I thought power would fill the emptiness in my heart. But seeing her," she nodded toward Sofia, "seeing her win, not through force but through kindness, I realize I was wrong." Marilla stepped closer, her golden wings folding gently. "Then perhaps there is hope for you yet. Shadows can always find the light, if they choose it." Nyx bowed her head. "If you will allow me, I wish to begin again." Sofia smiled, stepping forward. "Everyone deserves a chance to change." The crown upon her head glowed brighter as thou. While agreeing, a chorus of butterflies swirled around Nyx, brushing away the last remnants of shadow clinging to her form. For the first time, her eyes reflected peace instead of rage. Marilla turned back to Sofia. "Princess, the butterfly crown was never meant to remain in one world alone. It is a bridge, uniting courage with compassion, strength with gentleness. You have proven yourself worthy, and by restoring it, you have saved us." Sofia carefully removed the crown and held it out. "This belongs with you, Queen Marilla. It's your kingdom's heart." Marilla accepted it, placing the crown upon her own head. The moment she did, a wave of golden light swept across the land. The palace walls gleamed brighter, the skies filled with thousands of butterflies, and the kingdom's beauty was restored to its fullest. Sofia felt warmth spread through her heart. She hadn't claimed the crown for herself, yet she knew its lessons would stay with her forever. Clover hopped forward, wagging his little tail. "So, does this mean adventure time is over and snack time is beginning?" Sofia laughed, kneeling to scoop him up. "Yes, Clover, I think we've earned it." Marilla raised her staff, and a portal of golden light opened behind them, showing the familiar gardens of Enchantia's castle. "It is time for you to return home," she said. "But know this, Sofia, you will always be a princess of the Butterfly Kingdom, as well as of Enchantia." Sofia's eyes shone. "Thank you. I'll never forget this." Nyx stepped forward hesitantly. "And thank you, Sofia, for showing me a different way." Sofia gave her a gentle smile. "You'll find your path. I believe in you." With Clover in her arms and her heart filled with joy, Sofia stepped through the portal. The golden light faded, and she was back in her garden in Enchantia, the very place where her journey had begun. The butterflies that had flown, as called her, still fluttered nearby, glowing softly before vanishing into the morning sun. "No matter where I go, I'll always carry." Sofia looked to the sky, her heart calm and proud. She whispered, "No matter where I go, I'll always carry the wings of courage." And in that moment, she knew her adventure as Princess Butterfly would forever be part of her story.